And we are live, party people. Welcome, 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 coaches, to day one of the client attraction system. It is a system to attract clients. It's not about throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping that something works. As you're coming in, I'm asking people to drop into the chat where you're watching from. And if you want to share, feel free to share where you were certified from. Would love to hear. And I'll pick up my workbook as I get started here. Workbook. Many of you have sent over your phone numbers. Thank you very much for that. Our system to send out workbooks via text is not currently working. So for that reason, we have emailed you the workbook. We've emailed you the workbook. So be sure to check your email. If you didn't, for some reason, see this workbook in your email, please go ahead and drop into the chat. I need a workbook. I need a workbook, because this is going to be what you are going to attach yourself to over the next 7 days. So if you need a workbook, drop into the chat. Girl, I need a workbook. And let's have those comments come in here. So apologies, we weren't able to text it this time. But anybody that needs a workbook, Tabitha or Heather will drop it into the chat. Okay, let's get this party started. So I want to start off by welcoming you to this workshop. This is day one. Today we're going to talk about the inner circle client acquisition system, step one. So today is really step one. And I talk about there's 3 steps that you can right away start acquiring clients. And today we're going to talk about step 1, using your inner circle to acquire new clients. So it's step 1 of the system. So today, what are you going to learn? Just to give you an overview of what we're about to dive into today. First, you're going to learn how to leverage your inner circle. Even for those of you that think, I don't have a network, Betty, what are you talking about, girl? I don't know who I would reach out to in my network. There is a way to leverage people already in your circle in a very authentic, normal, non-icky way to get connected to clients. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about who exactly is in your inner circle. So we're going to touch on that today. And there will be an opportunity at some point during tonight's session, there will be an opportunity for you to receive an inner circle tracker tool. So there will be an opportunity, and I will explain to you what that looks like. So quick reminder before we go wild, I'm going to drop it into the chat. And then we're going to hit the ground running. So dropping it into the chat, because I've had people already they are asking me these types of questions. So I'm going to drop it into the chat. For those of you who are asking me how to apply for a discovery call, it's right there. For those of you who have been asking me, you want to learn more about the Corporate to Six-Figure Coach Academy, the link is right there. Okay, so FYI for those of you who are already hitting us up and looking for info. So there you go. All right, day one. My name, for those of you who haven't met me yet, is Betty Kempa, business coach for coaches, member of the Forbes Coaches Council. Gosh, I think I'm going on almost 4 years, 3 to 4 years now. IPEC graduate, so I'll have to check the chat to see who my other IPECians are in the house. What else about me? Ranked one of the top coaches in both Denver and Tampa by Influence Digest. And ultimately, I'm the founder of the Corporate to Six-Figure Coach Academy, where we help corporate renegades ditch the 9-to-5 and repackage their genius in order to replace their 6-figure corporate income with a coaching business. All right. So I will be your guide over the next week. I'm thrilled to be here with you. Acquiring clients while you are still at your full-time job is really the first step in fully replacing your corporate income with a full-time, sustainable coaching business. Okay. The way that I teach, We're talking about transformational change here. We're not talking about, oh, I got a client, or, oh, I booked a call, or, we're talking about the people that are here are all in believing in, their calling to coach and to build a coaching business. So I'm talking about, for this week, this is really that first step. This is really that first step. All right. So what else do I want to tell you real quick? It's helpful for coaches, especially who are still in their corporate job. And of course, that's my story, right? I come from a corporate gig. So that's my story. But whether you're in a corporate job, of course, I have other clients that, aren't necessarily in corporate. They're in some kind of a full-time gig. This system I'm about to teach you is going to be helpful because, one, you'll be able to attract clients without blowing your cover at your corporate job. Okay. So I know that's a fear of a lot of people, of a lot of coaches still in a full-time gig, is, yeah, Betty, I want to attract clients, but I can't blow my cover. So I get it. That's not, you don't have to feel like you're alone, like you're a unicorn. There's a lot of people who are in that position. All of my clients are in that position, right? So that's a part of what this system will help you do. You will learn how to get clients while at your full-time job pre-launch. So what I mean is, no, you don't need to have a perfect website to get clients, right? And I tend to attract a lot of type A perfectionists. It's okay to admit, anybody in the house who's a little bit of, what should I say, overcoming perfectionism, or maybe you're loud and proud. Yep, perfectionism, and that's who I am. So I tend to attract a lot of type A's. And raise your hand. Recovering, that's the word I wanted, Heather. Thank you. Recovering perfectionists. I tend to attract a lot of perfectionists and a lot of type A's, right? So what I'm saying to you guys is, there's a way to launch a coaching business to attract clients pre-launch without having your website ready. Yes, and you should be attracting clients and validating you have a business before you get all the bells and whistles going. And ultimately, the system I'm going to teach you this week is to help you mitigate risk by creating enough coaching income to allow you to transition out of corporate when you're ready. All right. So for those of you, I see people kind of trickling in bit by bit here. Drop into the chat. Let us know where you're watching from tonight. I'd also like to hear, drop into the chat, what's your intention for this week? I know I'm calling this the client attraction system, the client acquisition system, but I'd love to hear in the chat, what's your intention for this week? And it can be short and simple. It could be one word. It could be one sentence. Let's just kind of get grounded here on, everybody's at a different point in their journey. What's your intention for this week? So we can all kind of make sure we are, going where we want to go here. Let's see here. I'm going to just go through our chat and make sure I can see what you guys are sharing with me. Pat's out in DC. A lot of energy going on out there, Pat. Welcome, welcome. Marie out in beautiful Montreal. Thanks for joining, Marie. Sean is out in Ontario. And the word in front of that, I don't think I could pronounce, even if I tried. But you're out in Ontario. Welcome. I know I have quite a few Canadian clients. We've got Heather out in Arizona. Beautiful. My sister is just about to go out there to, I'm going to blank on it now, but there's, what's the name of the town in Arizona that's very spiritual, and people go out there to do kind of meditation workshops. And of course, I'm blanking on it. I was just chatting with my sister about this, but I know it's such a lovely place out in Arizona. Sheila out in Tennessee, in Knoxville. My mom's out in near Nashville area. Nerman's from California. What's going on, Nerman? Wanda's out in Houston. So is Natalie. Certified through BTI. Good stuff. All right. And anybody that needed the workbook, if again, because I see we still have people dropping in, drop into the chat if you need a workbook. And once again, Heather will put the link to the workbook in the chat. So, keep it coming if you can't see the chat above. Hey, Patrick from Southern Illinois. Thank you for joining us. Lisa, hope you got your workbook there. Heather dropped the link underneath. Emma got her workbook, I hope. Heather dropped a link for you. Hey, Brianna, another IPECian. You trained out in Orlando. Good stuff. I'm actually in St. Pete, Florida now, but I trained in San Francisco for IPEC. Who else do we have with us? Desiree, another IPECian. Wanda, a fellow overcoming perfectionist. See, I knew I wasn't alone. Desiree's raising her hand. Brianna, okay, so let's hear some of these intentions we're setting. Brianna, trying to build a mid to long-term vision on how to do all of this. Good. Because I'm looking for people who aren't searching for a magic pill, right? I'm looking for people who are understanding that, yeah, this is a longer term. We're looking at sustainable business that we're trying to create here for something that is your calling, your mission. So absolutely, Brianna, we'll be getting into that for sure. Make sure you stay here throughout the entire week. Brianna, especially on Tuesday of next week, that day in particular, I'm going to be going through from like a 30,000-foot view, the longer term sustainable steps to making this right, building our coaching businesses all happen. Wanda's looking to learn how to attract clients, where to look. Absolutely. Sheila, gather ideas for finding and attracting clients. You know it. Natalie, staying focused and not procrastinating. Yes, girl. And you're here today. So, hey, on you. You didn't procrastinate. You showed up. And hey, by the way, if somebody needs an accountability partner to make sure that you're holding hands and showing up and doing the homework items, put in the chat accountability partner. And I want you guys to make connections, etc., from these workshops. So if somebody's looking for an accountability partner, feel free to share. And if somebody else is looking for an accountability partner, partner up with people in this workshop. Or find another coach that you're like, girl, you got to be my accountability partner, and get them to join us for the upcoming call. Get them to register and to join us. Marie, learning how to build a coaching business as you're starting your journey. Love it. Jenny's out from Texas. Sedona, Heather. Yes, that's what I was talking about. Yeah, my sister is she's been going out for a lot of the workshops, very spiritual, very, I don't know what the word is, very intense, the energy out there. And yeah, she's talking about moving there. So beautiful place. Patrick, I want to acquire paying clients this week. Yes, yes, yes. Let's do it. Coranda, Tennessee. Love it. Nerman, yep. Sedona. Sean, how to generate lots of leads. Love it. Small town, Wisconsin. Hey, Corey, I get you. I'm a small town Wisconsin girl too. I mean, I've moved around a lot. I'm one of those moved around a lot, both as a kid and then in my later years. We finally built a house and settled down in St. Pete here. So I grew up near Green Bay. And we went to high school, and then I went to UW-Madison. So I feel you, small town Wisconsin. All right, y'all. Tabitha Ullman and Heather Copey. Tabitha and Heather, could you come into the chat and, like, I don't know, wave your hand in the chat or do something in the chat so people see who you are here. Maybe even Tabitha, Heather, I don't know if you guys want to drop your link for your Facebook profile in the chat. I don't know. But y'all, Tabitha Ullman and Heather Copey are your workshop concierge contacts. They're your go-to people, either here in Zoom or in the Facebook group this entire week and Monday, Tuesday of next week to assist you. It's highly important that you connect with your assigned workshop concierge contacts throughout the duration of this workshop. Why? They are literally, that's kind of the magic of this workshop. It's not me as a talking head. I hope it won't be, right? These ladies are here to customize the workshop for you. So based on where you're at in your journey, what you want to learn, et cetera, they're here to help. They're here to customize your journey. They're here to answer questions. Maybe you didn't get an answer for your workbook and you're like, oh, I missed it, but it was going fast at that part. The girls have the answer keys, et cetera, et cetera. So please make sure you, at minimum, you connect with them. That's the magic of this workshop. You don't want to leave this workshop as a silent ghost, still unsure about, like, well, what do I do next? I did this workshop. That is the opposite of how I want you to leave this workshop. All right. So please connect with your concierge during the workshop. Side note, they may have already messaged you. They may have already messaged you. I'm going to just share my screen real quick just to show you what this looks like. So if they are not, they being Tabitha or Heather, if they are not your Facebook friend, then their message will not be in this message chat. If they're your Facebook friend, it might show up right here. Otherwise, it's going to be hidden from you. That's fun. Always fun, isn't it? So what you may need to do if you're like, what the heck? And let's say, one of the girls is like, yeah, I messaged you. What happened? I want you to click here, Messenger. And then you're going to click these 3 dots. Then you're going to click message request, message request. And you'll see all of these message requests, And these are people who you are not Facebook friends with yet. So I'm just giving you a little hint. Their message might be waiting, hidden in there from you. Okay, just FYI. Side note, if you're joining us here tonight via Zoom, it's very important that you also join the Build a Six-Figure Coaching Business Facebook group. Heather and or Tabitha, please drop into the chat the link to the Facebook group for everybody. Oh, by the way, if you don't know who your workshop concierge contact is, because we literally have a spreadsheet, everybody who registered, we have assigned you a concierge to assist you. So if you don't know who is my concierge, I haven't connected to her yet, please drop in the chat workshop contact. Just drop that into the chat. Workshop contact. Hello, me, workshop contact. And the girls will make a list and they will make sure that you two are connected within the next 24 hours. So if you don't know who your workshop contact is, or if you haven't connected yet, please put in the chat workshop contact. And by the way, that's very normal. We always have a couple people who either just registered or they're not sure where to look yet or whatever the case is. So tell us in the chat workshop contact. So anyways, Heather or Tabitha, Tabitha put in the chat, y'all need to join the Facebook group. It's free. The reason for that is that we're going to be doing activities, right? This is a workshop. So it's not a talking head. It's not me talking at you, even though it feels like that as I run through these announcements. So you're going to need to be going into that Facebook group within 24 hours between each call. You're going to post your homework so that you have a chance to be in the running for the prizes. So that you have a chance to be in the running for the prizes. So that's number 1, because we're going to do prize giveaways. But to be eligible, you got to post your homework. And it's going to be a post from Tabitha. It's going to be a picture of me. It's going to say homework. It's going to have just one question. It'll be something from your workbook. And you're just going to answer the question just to show us you're engaged, you're doing your homework. It's that easy. So if you participate in that, then we drop your name into the drawing for the next gift giveaway. And starting tomorrow night, I'm going to be announcing who are the winners of each gift giveaway. The other way to be eligible for a gift giveaway, you can't just drop your homework answer in the thread in the Facebook group and say, see ya. You got to show up live. You got to be here live in order to get your gift. So be sure after you answer the homework question, Tabitha will drop it in the Facebook group after tonight's session. You can either answer it tonight or tomorrow. Then you have to show up live Tuesday night to be eligible to receive, to have your name in the drawing so that you could be eligible to receive a prize. What else do we do within the Facebook group? In the Facebook group, this is where you will receive feedback on everything and anything. So if you're like, Betty, I want your feedback on this. Betty, I have a question on this. That's how I'm communicating with people, is in that Facebook group. You'll get feedback, you'll get answers from me, anything to do with the client acquisition system. This is also, of course, where you'll connect in the DMs with your concierge who will customize this experience for you. Mark your calendars. I'm teaching live here every night this week on Zoom, Monday through Friday. 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, for about an hour or so each night. Tonight, I'm giving you some announcements. So, you know, it's a little bit just tonight, a little bit longer with these announcements. The weekend, so this upcoming weekend, we're going to take off. We're going to catch our breaths. And here's why. I want you guys to be able to, yes, one, catch your breath, go out in nature, whatever. But two, I want you all to have a chance to catch up on the replays, catch up on your homework. I want you to leave the workshop feeling good about, I watched all the trainings, I did all my homework. So the weekend is a catch your breath and a replay kind of a day. And then our last 2 sessions, it's a total of 7 sessions. It's a total of 7 sessions, 5 this week, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. And then next week, we'll finalize our final 2 sessions, Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Okay, so really, really important. I will say this too, Wednesday is an especially important night for you to catch. This week, Wednesday, and I saw it in the chat, some of the things y'all are looking to learn. Wednesday, we're talking about where to find your perfect prospects, right? Because if you can't find them, all of this stuff we're teaching isn't going to do much. So please make sure you star Wednesday. Side note, same Zoom link for each of these trainings. We're not trying to confuse you. Different Zoom link for a different night. It's the same Zoom link. All videos and training will come down Tuesday of next week at midnight Eastern Standard Time. Okay, really important. Again, this is a workshop. We're trying to get you to take action, take action, take action. So like Cinderella turning, you know, her carriage turning into a pumpkin, Tuesday of next week at midnight Eastern Standard Time, we're ripping down all the videos, all the training, everything. So please get caught up in all the good stuff by Tuesday of midnight next week. If you've registered, which you should, girls, if you could drop the registration link into the chat. Be sure you have registered, meaning you've given us your name and email. Why? Because we'll be sending you important emails and information from me on upcoming trainings throughout the week. So you'll need that information. So Tabitha or Heather, if you could drop the link for people to register. I think most of you are registered, but please make sure that you're getting emails from me. If you know, and you may need to check your junk or your spam box. Be sure you're getting emails from me. You may need to drag my email. And a way to stop having the emails go to your junk or your spam is respond to the email. That'll teach your mail system, or drag it into your inbox. All right, the giveaways we'll be doing are gift cards and special gifts almost every day for our live viewers. We'll start tomorrow. I told you the requirements. You got to participate in the homework thread, and you have to be here live. So that's it. Without further ado, let's dive in. Pull out your workbook, open it up, and let's get started. If you just joined, I saw a couple people just join in. Drop into the chat, I need a workbook. I need a workbook. Drop it into the chat if you need it. All right, so let's get going. Inner Circle client acquisition system. Okay, this is the first step in this 3-part client acquisition system. The system is simple. I'm a KISS method kind of gal. It's about organic, so meaning versus paid. The people that are throwing money at Facebook ads, which I'm not anti-Facebook ads. What I tell people time and time again is that there's a time and place for everything. Facebook ads shouldn't be happening until you've validated the market with your niche. And until I would wait to make sure you've pulled in at least 6 figures, if not for 1 year, at least 2 years in a row. And there will come a time when, yeah, Facebook ads make sense. You have the budget for it, etc. Please don't start your business chucking money at Facebook ads. That's a whole nother training. And by the way, if you want that training, drop it into the chat. One of the girls will get it for you, because I did that training recently. But this training this week is about organic ways to get clients. Okay. So we're going to talk today about your inner circle. So go ahead, pull out your workbook, Feel free to come on video. You don't have to. You might be eating dinner. You might not want to come on video. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I do that sometimes myself. But if you want to come on video, feel free. Natalie, thanks for joining me, girl. If you're old school like me and you printed out your workbook, wave it around. I'm an old school printed out. Hey, Natalie. Yep. Who else? We got Sheila. Yeah. You know what? I just print stuff out. I just do. I understand that, most people do the online reading, and that's cool, but I print it out. If you didn't print it out, that's cool too. Pull it up on PDF, pull it up in front of you on the screen. Okay, so get ready because we're going to be filling it out. Hey, Marie, lovely to see your face. So turn to page one, and get ready. Get your typing fingers ready, get your pens ready, whatever you want to use to take notes. So let's talk about the inner circle. Okay. I want you to think of your inner circle as, so I'm about to share some stuff, and this is what you want to write down in your workbook. And as I'm sharing, Heather and or Tabitha will be dropping some of what I share into the chat because I'm kind of a fast talker. So the gals they have my back. They'll be sharing in the chat. So if you're like, I didn't catch that, Tabitha or Heather will be dropping the copy in the chat. Think of your inner circle as the humans in your network, who already know, like, and trust you. So these are humans in your network. You don't have to convince them to talk to you. You don't have to convince them to, they already know, like, and trust you in some capacity, right? Some closer than others. That's okay. But in some capacity, there's some kind of connection there. Okay. Now, let me be clear when I'm talking about your inner circle, and please be filling this out in your workbook while we're talking about this, top of page 1. I want to be clear. Your inner circle may not be an ideal client avatar, okay? But that's okay. By the way, side note, before I go wild with rhetoric and, words that not everyone's familiar with, drop into the chat. Does anybody know what an ideal client avatar is? Drop it into the chat. Well, and I don't even have in front of me like, this is the definition. There's not like there's a lot of ways to describe it. How would you describe an ideal client avatar? How would you describe that? Drop into the chat. Let us know to you. What is an ideal client avatar? Drop that into the chat. What you thinking? Is that, or give me this. Here we got Heather Butler. Brainstorming a client, their demographics, and the problem they need help solving. Bingo, bango. You got it. Yeah. And it is some brainstorming, right? Because it's not something that's like, here, this is your ideal client, right? You have to brainstorm it. You have to do some research about it. You have to make some decisions. But yeah, ultimately, Heather just laid it out there, right? You are coaching a specific problem. And then you got to stop and think, who needs this problem solved, right? That would be your ideal client avatar. And then you got to get to know who, not just who they are, like, oh, working moms, but specifically, right? Like Heather's saying, their demographics, maybe it's their psychographics, right? We'll get into that more later. Nerman, absolutely. The characteristics of the ideal client. So when you close your eyes and you think about this ideal client that you'd love to work with, what are all their characteristics? How will you know once you found them? Desiree, the person you're best able to coach. Absolutely, too. Yeah, when you get off a coaching call, you're feeling incredible, amazing, you gel, right? It's this type of a person that you're like, oh, I wish I had 12 of you. Absolutely. Desiree. And Marie, having an ideal client avatar helps us attracting the right people. When we are talking to everyone, we're talking to no one. Ooh. And Marie, I just want to like hit my big bell. You said my favorite phrase when we're talking to everyone, we're talking to no one, because that's the truth. That is the truth. Absolutely. All right. So anyways, what I'm telling you guys when it comes to your inner circle, because that's something slightly different. Inner circle, ideal client avatar. These are different potentially. And here's what I'm telling you. Your inner circle, your list of people that know, like, and trust you may not be your ideal client avatar. They may be. Cool. If you're like, oh yeah, a colleague I used to work with, they know me, they like me, they trust me, they're my ideal client avatar. Awesome, great. But probably there's going to be a lot of people on your inner circle list that know, like, and trust you. They're part of your network, that they are not your ideal client avatar. So what I'm trying to get across to you is that's okay. When I talk about your inner circle list, making a list of all the humans in your inner circle, please don't just think about, well, who is my ideal client avatar? We're not there yet. That's not this part of the training. Okay. So what else do I want to tell you about your inner circle? Someone in your, and here's the thing. We are not necessarily, when we make a list of all the people in our inner circle, all the people in our network, all the people who know, like, and trust us, we are not necessarily looking for them to be our client. When it comes to our inner circle, not necessarily. It'd be great if that happened, and it probably will happen a couple times. But a lot of times, somebody in your inner circle, it's going to be them who is able to vouch for you. It'll result in a referral. Okay? Don't rule anyone outside of that box. Okay? Don't rule anyone out. I always talk about a hairdresser I had. I loved him to death. And, you know, you always tell your hairdresser everything and you tell them stuff. And my gosh, he probably had a client for each one of us here. Why? Because in his job, he touched so many different people and they talk to him. You know, if you were to say, yeah, I coach people that are getting divorced, he'd be like, oh, I got 3 people to introduce you to. Right. So my point is, think outside the box. Don't just be thinking about only people who are your ideal client avatar. So I want to just do a little test here. And I want you to write down in your workbook, page 1, bottom of page 1, 5 potential people who could be in your inner circle. And let me be clear of some examples. These could be friends. These could be family. These could be neighbors. These could be alumni, people you went to school with, high school, college, coaching certification. These could be old colleagues, current colleagues, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, like I said, we'll get much deeper into where to find inner circle people and potential clients day 3. So that day, be sure to attend. But for now, I want you to stop what you're doing. Like, come back to me if you're doing something else and give me 5 names, write them down here, and then put done in the chat once you're done. I want you to list the first 5 people in your inner circle that come to mind when it comes to either you're like, yep, they are my ideal client avatar. They're a potential client. Yes, yep, need to talk to them. Or maybe they're just somebody who's a connector. They could potentially refer you to someone else. Right? Maybe it's your best friend and you're like, yes, I'm doing this coaching business. This is who I'm helping. This is the type of problem. Do you know anyone like this? Okay. So put in page 1, inner circle name. Give me 5 names. And this is private. You guys are just putting this down for yourself here. Okay. Put done in the chat once you're done with that. The second part of this exercise is communication method. Okay. Very important. The second part is communication method. And here's why. You can't, well, you could, but I wouldn't recommend you force the type of communication you use down everybody's throat. Like, I text, so I'm going to text everybody, or I Facebook DM, so I'm going to Facebook DM everyone. You got to think to yourself, and you may need to do research. How does this person prefer to communicate, right? If it's some of my best friends, yeah, maybe I send them a text. If it's a colleague from work, maybe it's an email. Maybe it's a phone call. Maybe it's a Facebook direct message. Maybe it's a LinkedIn direct message, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm telling you to be cognizant. So I want you to list. We're guessing here, right? We may not know, but you got to ask yourself, what communication method would probably make the most sense for this person, right? Based on a lot of things, right? Their age, their line of work, their relationship with you, etc. Okay. So put done in the chat. Oh, wait, look at all y'all. Okay, great. And if you're not done yet, no worries. Take this away as homework. Take this away as homework. But I want you to get page 1 complete. This is the first 5 people that just come to mind. First 5 people that just come to mind. And in a way, as we go on throughout this week, I'm going to be teaching you, what do you do with these people? That's probably what you're wondering, like, Betty, what am I signing up for with these 5 people? So I'm going to teach you, okay, once you have these 5 names, how do we potentially have an authentic, normal, not icky, conversation, and sharing our excitement about what we're doing and seeing if we can build our network. Maybe these 5 people know somebody that needs that type of help they could introduce us to. Sometimes when I ask that question, by the way, hey, I'm really excited. I'm doing this with my coaching business. I'm trying to build my network with these types of people. Do you know anybody like that? A lot of times they'll raise their hands and say, it's me, right? And so for some of you that have really kind of a sensitive niche, whether it's health related or divorce related or whatever it is, a really soft way to ask is, do you know anyone like this you could connect me to? I'm trying to build my network. And sometimes they'll say, it's me, right? So we'll get into that more later in this week. Now, side note, I will tell you this. In my program, and I have a variety of different coaching programs right now. The Academy is one of them. But my clients do receive a tool. It's called an inner circle tracker, because above and beyond these five people and the communication method, there's more to it, and there's more people you need to list. So that's part of my program. One of the tools I provide my clients is this inner circle tracker. The purpose of the inner circle tracker is to list everybody in your inner circle, and you're really thinking outside of the box here, so you can start conversations. If we're just quiet and going to work and coming home, we're missing opportunities. Conversations equal clients. Okay, really important. Okay, this is, in a sense, almost a part of a sales funnel. And I didn't bring my whiteboard. I didn't pull it out. I'll pull it out for tomorrow. But the sales funnel looks like inner circle to conversations to clients. That's the sales funnel. Inner circle to conversations to clients. Okay. The conversations may lead to the people in your inner circle. You're catching up with them and they say, hey, I could be your client. You're describing me. Or B, yeah, oh my gosh, I know exactly someone who fits that description. Yeah, let me introduce you. The key is, and I will say, just write this down somewhere. It's not a workbook question, but I would write this down somewhere. The key is, when you're networking, and by the way, me with the networking talk, I'm an introvert, okay? So I've made it a point to really study networking because it doesn't come naturally to me. Any other introverts with me tonight? And I'm not saying that means, right, like you may look at me and think, you don't seem like an introvert. So, it doesn't mean in every situation you're like this. Yeah, Jenny, yeah. Desiree, Heather, yeah. I read somewhere, and there's probably a couple different variations of this. I'm an INFJ. I'm always curious if there's any other INFJs out there. A lot of INFJs go into coaching. It's interesting. INFP, close, yeah. So anywho, my point of sharing the introvert thing, close, Sean, yeah. is that, I've studied networking because I felt uncomfortable with it, but not a fan of networking. Yeah, I understand, Norman. I wasn't either. I mean, I could tell you guys some stories. I won't do that tonight because I want to get you out of here on time. But the key when you're networking online, right, is to start light. Start it light and airy, right? Start it personal, a human to human. And side note, that's the good news about us as coaches. We are not, these mass marketers and these, we see these MLMs out there and these icky stick. Like, our calling is to serve. So our job is we got to get in front of people and we have to share what we do so we can shine our light in as many directions as we can. So what I'm telling you is, as you start networking, the way I don't want to see you doing it is to coming right at them. Hey, I'm doing this business. Do you know anybody? Blah, blah, blah. Like, they're like, I haven't seen you since the high school reunion 10 years ago. Like, whoa, wait. So start it light, and it should be hopefully a relief for you, right? Start it like if you saw them at a real networking event at a party and you're getting something to drink and somebody else comes up next to you and, you see them, like, what's the first thing you would say, right? Would you go right into a pitch? You wouldn't. You'd talk about, oh, what brings you here? Or, I love your shoes. Or, oh, I heard your elevator pitch before. Tell me more about you, right? A lot of times we're asking questions about them first. So start it light, start it personal. A lot of times start it non-business related. That's a great way to start. Okay. So let's talk through, and side note, as I talk you through potential, I'm just reading comments here. Yeah, Brianna, I'm with you. As I talk you through the way you go about this inner circle networking, and when I'm talking about it virtually. You could use it in person. I'm talking about virtual networking. So let me kind of talk you through this. One quick thing, again, because I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. What I'm talking you through, everything I'm about to talk you through, so take your notes, do your thing. This is all covered in the Inner Circle Tracker tool that I give my clients, okay? That being said, right, while there are some tools that only my clients have, that's kind of the nature of, the game. From an ethical standpoint, your clients have certain things and, until someone becomes a client, they don't. But if you are one of those people who is here because not only do you want to learn this workshop, but you're also interested in potentially becoming a client, or at minimum, you're doing the research to see if our different program options are right for you. And we do have many different program options. What we will do is, if you apply for a discovery call, and again, Tabitha or Heather, could you put the application for the discovery call in the chat? I'm scrolling back up. Oh, here, I got it, actually. I'll put it in the chat because I want to make sure I'm sharing the application. And we don't, here it is. Okay, so it's an application. If you apply for a discovery call, if you show us that, you're one of those people that are serious about, now this doesn't mean you're like, yeah, I'm going to become a client right away. This means you're serious. You're serious about your coaching business. You're interested in potentially becoming a client. You're doing research to see if our program options are right for you. Click the link I just shared to apply for a discovery call so we can have a conversation about it. The act of you showing us you're serious, to me, I'm happy to share that tool with you. If you're serious about, hey, I'm here to get that support, especially, this is a different conversation, but having that support with what's going on in the market right now. If you apply for a discovery call, regardless of whether you become a client or not, we are happy to share that tool with you. Okay, so FYI, grab that link and you can check that out later. So let me walk you through and you can take some notes. Okay, and this is kind of the flow of how this inner circle networking will look like. And in the inner circle tracker, you're going to be tracking this information. So step one for y'all is you want to be, and again, this is whether you do it with our tracker or you figure out a way to organize it by yourself. I want to encourage you to make a list of, let's start with 25 people in your inner circle. Let's start with 25 people in your inner circle. As your coach, eventually, I want to encourage you to get to 100. 100 people in your inner circle. Okay. I'm really getting you to think outside the box, go above and beyond, stretch further than you thought you could. Okay. So we're making a list of people in our inner circle. You want to also have kind of a column where you're saying, okay, this is how they're related to me, which sounds silly, but if you have a list of 100 people, you're going to be like, wait, which John is this? Is this the John I went to high school with? Is this the John I worked with? You want to track what kind of communication you have with them. How should I get a hold of them? What's their email? What's their LinkedIn, etc. And this is what this might look like. I want to give you an example of what this might look like. And again, all this information is included in the Inner Circle Tracker tool, but I'm going to share it with you too, verbally. So the way this would look is step one. You go to your tracker, you see the first person. Let's say her name is Marie Jones, and she's a Facebook gal, and you went to high school with her. So step one is do them a solid. Do them a solid. Okay? Meaning, do something nice without expecting anything in return. Okay? It could look like something as simple as engaging on their social media content. It could be that simple. Engaging on their social media content could be that simple. Okay, so step one is do them a solid. Step two, after you do them a solid, and let's see, yeah, on page two, turn to page two. I'm going to give you some more examples of doing a solid. Okay, because I think some of you might be like, girl, what are you talking about? Do them a solid. Okay, so write this down in your workbook, page two. Here's what I mean when I say do them a solid. Okay, we're doing something of value without any expectation of anything in return. Okay, so this could be, write this down, page two. And if you don't catch this all, Tabitha or Heather will copy paste it in the notes. It could be doing something useful or valuable for that person, or it could be something that just makes them feel good. It does not necessarily have to do with coaching. It does not necessarily have to do with your business. It can be personal. Okay. Another way to describe doing a solid is engaging in their social media. Okay. What does engaging look like? Sure, a like, but please go a step further. Read what they posted and share an authentic comment, not a fires or great read. Like, right. You know what I mean? Read what they posted and share an authentic comment. Maybe you even want to reshare their post. That would be greatly appreciated, wouldn't it? If I would reshare, make sure you tag them in the reshare. And again, share some authentic comments about what you valued about what they shared on social media. Now, some of you are going to say, Betty, my ideal client avatars are my network, my inner circle. They don't post on social media. That's fine. Maybe you send them an article that you think would be helpful to them. Now, this could be either around coaching their urgent problem, or it could be around anything useful to that person. So I'm talking about, like, let's say you're a health coach and you're already talking to this person. This person already told you, like, oh, I'm struggling with motivation. It doesn't even have to be your article. Maybe you find a great, I mean, I would just Google, right? And find a really good article and say, hey, Maria, I was thinking about you. You told me about, motivation, and, I found this great article and I thought about you. Here, give it a read. Let me know what you think. Maybe it's nothing to do with the business. Maybe, Marie's got a golden doodle and you found a really cute golden doodle contest. And if the dog wins with the picture, you get $10,000. I am so far out there making stuff up, but you guys get what I'm saying here, right? It's doing them a solid. It's showing them, it's people to people skills, right? Human to human. It's just the stuff you do anyways with your close-knit friends. Maybe you send them a handwritten letter. Again, me being old school, right? A handwritten letter, nothing to do with business. A handwritten letter. Maybe they've been going through a tough time. I know for me, again, I'm not going to go too deep down the rabbit hole, but a while back, I got a cancer diagnosis. As you can see, doing good, doing pretty good today. So I don't want to worry any of you here. But I'll never forget, and this had nothing to do with business. But by the way, that's what doing a solid should feel like. I'll never forget there was this one lady who I never was that close to. I was never really close to her. And she sent me these handwritten cards, just thinking about you, praying for you. These handwritten cards like every 2 months without fail. And it touched my heart so deeply. I'll never forget that. So don't underestimate the value, the power of a handwritten note, Side note, shout out to all my cancer survivors. Power to the people there. What else? If somebody's local to you, take them out for coffee. Take them out for a coffee, for a chit chat. If they're not local, send them a $5 Starbucks coffee and digital coupon. Although I laugh because I'm like, Starbucks isn't $5 anymore. It's like you need $10 to get a coffee probably. And you could send them just a Starbucks, not to all 100 people, but maybe there's someone that you're like, yeah, this person's really high up on my list. Send them a coffee digital coupon from Starbucks and say, happy Monday, coffee's on me. For some people, right, that are more in the LinkedIn area, send them a LinkedIn endorsement. So you know how there's all those skills, skilled at communication, skilled at leadership, skilled at whatever. Those matter. Send them some LinkedIn skill endorsements. Even better, if you worked with them, send them a LinkedIn written recommendation. Those are huge. And they don't need to be, well, how am I trying to say this? They don't need to be, you don't need to be their boss in order to send somebody a LinkedIn written recommendation. This basically, like when you ask your higher up for a testimonial, or a written recommendation. So think about coworkers, think about anybody that you touched hands with or, worked with at your job. Send them a LinkedIn written recommendation. That's a big deal to do for somebody. And last but not least, it can be as simple as I saw Marie post on Facebook that she took a trip with her kids to Disney. And I just messaged her, oh, I saw your pictures. That looks so fun. Okay, so I'm going on and I'm going to stop there. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Put in the chat if you're picking up what I'm putting down. Give me a thumbs up or something. Okay, good. So we're just talking about, before we go right in for, I'm networking, I want to get people, I'm business. Like let's humanize things. Let's start soft. All right. So again, this is all in the inner circle tracker. So maybe I might say to Marie, hey, Marie, I saw your pictures on Facebook of your recent trip with the kids to Orlando. How fun. I went there last year. We had a blast. Now here's something important. Write this down somewhere. So I'm going to send Marie, I'm going to do her a solid. I'm going to like and comment on her pictures. Then I'm going to send her a Facebook DM. Hey, saw the pictures. Trip looked great. Hey, I know we haven't connected since our last reunion, our high school reunion. What's new and exciting in your world as of late? Please write that down. Write down that sentence. What is new and exciting in your world as of late? Please write that down. Okay. That's important. So when you're, talking to somebody and, hey, I saw this, or you're doing that, or whatever it is, I wanted to reach out. What's new and exciting in your world as of late? That should be your closing sentence. Why? Anyone want to gander a guess? Why would that be my closing sentence? When I'm outreaching to the people in my inner network, I'm talking about the people in my inner network. If you get the tool, you will see this is part of the tracker. We list out our people, we outreach, shows concern. Absolutely, Jenny. Absolutely, Pat. So they respond. They have an action. Yes. And Brianna, it needs to be about them. Yes, 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 yes. Check, 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 check. And guess what? What's the human response typically? When somebody asks you, somebody says to you, if I was to say, hey, Natalie, what's new and exciting in your world as of late? You're going to tell me, oh, girl, I did this, I did that, I did this. And then what might you say at the end of your response? Anybody want to guess? Yes, Brianna. Brianna's on one today. And Nerman, yes. What about you? What are you up to? So it's an open invitation to saying, hey, I just shared with you. Now you share with me. So when I say what's new and exciting in your world as of late, it's this, Betty, it's this, it's this, it's this. Betty, what about you? Right? Then I'm going to say something like, oh, well, thanks for sharing what's new with you. You guys are planning a trip to Greece next. That sounds incredible. Let me think, what's new and exciting in my world? I got to tell you, by the way, I mean, I get hyped up for these calls because I love this stuff. I'm not always this hyper, I promise, but a little hyper sometimes. I got sleep today. So, that helps. But sometimes what you might want to do is send an audio to people so that they can hear the excitement in your voice, not in an obnoxious way, but I think it helps for people to understand how passionate you are about what you're doing. This isn't just like, I'm trying to get a job. This is our life's calling. This is our legacy. This is our calling. This is like, we're life-changing here for others. So I might leave an audio and say, hey, thanks for asking me what's new with me. I got to tell you something. I am so pumped with my latest endeavor. I am following my lifelong dream of becoming a coach and an entrepreneur. In fact, I just got certified as a business coach for coaches. So I told her my coaching title. So everybody write down, top of page 2. What's your coaching title? You got to know what it is so people can make referrals or decide if they want to potentially work with you. Write that down. Top page 2, top page 2. What's your coaching title? If you struggle to know, Betty, I don't really know about my coaching title. Put into the chat, need help with coaching title or something like that. And when I do hot seat, I'm going to do rapid fire hot seat on Monday of next week. When I do rapid fire hot seat, I'll hot seat coach you guys. So Tabitha will be writing down all the people that need help with their coaching title. And by the way, y'all, any question you have, if something's like going over the head or not clear, or you're like, could you help customize this for me? Please put it in the chat, because if I don't help you in the moment, at minimum on next Monday, when we do our rapid fire Q&A, I'm going down the list of every person. I'm going to make sure you get off that call feeling good. Okay. So we got to talk about the coaching title. Okay. We'll talk about that more. We'll talk about that more. Great question. Is it Sade or is it Sade? Either way. Sade, thank you. I was thinking, but I was like, I just don't want to assume. Is spiritual life coach considered a coaching title? I would drop the life and just say spiritual coach. But so I would just drop the life. And I think what I'll do with y'all is I will do, and Tabitha, will you help me by making a note of this in the spreadsheet where you write down everybody's questions? I'll do a exercise with you guys on Monday where I help you to identify your coaching title. Okay. So there's that. So again, back to, they said, well, what about you? I got to tell them my title. Otherwise they're like, well, what do you do? How do I refer you to someone if I don't know what you do? So I'm going to tell them my coaching title, and then I'm going to tell them my niche statement. By the way, if you need me to coach you on your niche statement, drop it into the chat. Need help with niche statement. And again, Tabitha will put you in a list of people. You just got to show up Monday in a week from now, 7 p.m. and I'm going to hot seat everybody. So then I got to share my niche. I got to share the urgent problem, and y'all put on page 2. That's your niche statement. What's the urgent problem you solve? That's how we can help our inner circle to make referrals for us, because they don't know how to explain to their friends what a coach is. Well, she asks questions and you've got the answers, and like, they don't know. We got to put it in civilian language. So everybody write on page 2, what is the urgent problem that this is your niche statement. What is the urgent problem you coach people to solve? Write that down on page 2. If you don't know it, that's normal, because most of my people that start working with me don't know. Most people don't know. That's okay. Oh, Heather just said, guys, I have a training. I have a document on the niche statement. So if you'd like it, send me a DM on Facebook and I can shoot it over to you. Oh, Heather, you are awesome. See, this is what I'm telling you guys. Hook up with your concierge. They've got the stuff. Thank you, Heather. And also join Monday, and you'll come off mute and I'll help you guys with your niche statement. So we'll do title and niche statement on Monday, and DM Heather, get the tools she has from her. So anyways, back to what I'm saying to this person. Hey, I'm a business coach for coaches. And then I give them the urgent problem I solve, right? Because they just asked me, what's new with me? I said, in a nutshell, I help corporate renegades ditch their 9-to-5 and repackage their genius into a 6-figure coaching business. I'm so passionate. And by the way, here's me. I'm doing an audio. You don't have to do audios. Sometimes I just like to, because it shows them I'm excited. This isn't just, I'm doing my copy paste outreach. Like, no, I'm excited. I'm passionate. So what's my call to action? I'm going to say, I am so passionate about this because I want to help other women just like me. That was me. Hey, by the way, do you happen to know anyone like this? I'm trying to build my network. Boom. Okay. So and again, it's all in the tracker, but that's an authentic way to open up the doors, the floodgates, so we can start to make connections. All right. Again, in the tracker, it will show you the different things you need to track, right? You're going to need to track different parts of your conversation. You're going to need to track follow-ups, et cetera, et cetera. So that all is in the tracker. But that's kind of a high-level overview. If you have any questions on how the tracker works, let me know. Put it into the chat. And Brianna has a great question about, a lot of people may be pulled between 2 different niche areas. Very normal. Very normal. My first year of coaching was career coach. And after a couple of years, I switched into business. So we will talk about that too. That's a great question, Brianna, on Monday. And side note, y'all feel free also to use the Facebook group to post your questions, and I'll answer them right in the Facebook group as well. Okay. So we talked about the urgent problem you coach people to solve. And side note, the niche statement, we'll talk about that more, but that's the I help who with what, so that. So when you're thinking about what's the urgent problem I coach people to solve, why do we want it urgent? Well, we don't want to just make up a problem and then convince people it's a problem. It should be a problem they are already searching for help with. And it should be urgent because they're like, I need help now. Otherwise, it's like pulling teeth. And you never want to be marketing or selling something that's like pulling teeth to get people to work with you. It's a problem that's already out there. Okay. So it's your niche statement, your I help who with what, so that. Okay. So, and by the way, if you have a draft of your niche statement, feel free to put that in the Facebook group too, and I'll give you my thoughts. What else do I want to tell you? I think that's it. So actions for tonight. As you can see on the bottom of page 2. Again, if you want that tracker, show us that you're serious about, getting some support. Explore, at minimum, exploring your options. And here's the link. Action items are in red. Action items are in red. Now there's 2 sections of action items. I really want you to focus just on the first action item. I want you to do a solid. We talked about what doing a solid was. I want you to all go do a solid for the first 5 members of your inner circle. You already listed them in your workbook. Your homework, go do them a solid, all 5. Now, the future action items, these are kind of like the bonus action items. Okay, so if you have the bandwidth, you keep going. Keep going with these action items down here. Okay. All right. So quick preview of what we'll be talking about tomorrow. If you have any questions, if you need any help, please DM Heather, please DM Tabitha, please DM me, please post in the Facebook group. Tomorrow, workshop day 2, we're talking about how to use market research to get paying clients. So it's kind of a 2 for 1. Because y'all need to be doing market research to validate that you have a business that's going to make money. We're not trying to hope and pray, right? It's got to be validated. I mean, you can still hope and pray, but you got to validate that the business is going to make money. But while you validate, you can also get paying clients out of that. It's a really cool way to do both. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. We'll talk about the most powerful form of market validation to get clients, specific questions to ask during ICA survey that will help you turn the ICA, ideal client avatar, into a client. Tons of scripts, potential that, again, you'll have an opportunity on different wording. And by the way, I'm a copy gal. I'm a script gal. That's what I did. I was corporate communications for over a decade. So we're going to talk a little bit about how do I word these things when I'm trying to turn an ideal client avatar who I'm looking at into a paying client. What does that sound like? And we'll talk about the key on how to end an ideal client avatar survey so that it could potentially result in a paying client. So really, really powerful stuff. Make sure you show up here tomorrow night, same Zoom room, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Congrats. You've officially completed session 1. Give me some hearts or, I don't know, whatever emoji makes you feel good about life in the chat. If you're visual, give me a little something. I used to have the Zoom that let me, I would do these things and it would give me fireworks. And then I updated Zoom and it took that away from me. So I got to figure out how to bring that back because I loved that. I'm so psyched for you guys. Soak this all in. Now head to the Facebook group, post your homework in the homework thread posted by Tabitha. You can either do that tonight or tomorrow. If you're free tonight, I just would do it so you don't forget. And have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Same Zoom link. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. Eat some lovely dinner just for me. And Sheila, absolutely get with your concierge. Anybody that's asking about recordings, get with your concierge for that. Connect with your concierge. All right, y'all. And I'll be announcing our first winner tomorrow. You got to be live to get the prize. Got to be live to get the prize. Have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.